happens when you just don't feel it? Or you just don't feel like it? Hello and welcome. And today's insight is going to be about how to get yourself motivated. At least from my perspective, when it's time to do the work that you know you have to do, or you know that you want to do, or that you know that you should do, but you're like, nah, I just don't feel like it. So what I have noticed is you start doing one little thing, right? You complete one little project, and then you're like, okay, so now I feel good. I've got this little thing under my belt. I've done something today, right? And then you're like, well, I want to do something more because like just one is not enough. So what more can I do? So you do another thing, and then you do another thing. It's wanting to accomplish more things is what's gonna help you accomplish the big task. So let's say you really, really, really don't want to do the big task that is on your list, but you need to do. So you need to start small so that you can accomplish little things. And maybe you won't be able to complete the big task that you have on your list, but what you will do is that you'll complete a big portion of it, right? So it's like compound effect type of idea. You start small and you like add things on, and then you get to the final destination and you start doing what you planned to do, but didn't fully feel the really didn't feel the drive to do, if that makes sense at all. So ultimately, the way to get something done when you don't feel like it is just start with a little task and then add on to it, and then you'll see by just completing tasks, you'll want to complete one more task or one more task or and one more task. And this might take some time because this does not happen overnight. Like sometimes just do one thing and you're like, okay, that's it for today. So it might take a week, it might take 2 days, whatever. But do what you need to do in order to achieve that big goal that you have, right? So you start small and you get to where you want to get to. That's the idea. So, this definitely came in handy after my accident, because for me to be able to recover and be able to stand on my own 2 feet, I needed to do exercises every single day. And I was like, nah, I just don't feel like it today. But I had to do it, so I did it. Because my ultimate goal was to look like nothing ever happened in 5 years. As I've said many times, I don't know if you've heard it, it took me longer. It took me 7. Now, for those who are just tuning in for the first time to my channel, I was hit by a car when I was 19. Okay, I'm now 35. And at the beginning, I needed to do a lot of recovery so that I can regain the strength that I lost during my 85-day long coma, which was induced, by the way. I did not go into a coma by myself, but the doctors put me in a coma to keep me alive. So now, the reason why I'm talking about this from a perspective of what do you do when you don't feel like it? Because a lot of times I did not feel like doing the work necessary to get out of the situation that I found myself in. Or I didn't feel like doing my exercises, or I didn't feel like doing my homework, or I didn't feel like doing XYZ. It doesn't really matter. I just did not feel like doing it. That's all that matters. But by intending to do something I kind of force myself to accomplish a task and work my way towards completing it. So I would have like my calendar or my agenda, and I would write it down on my agenda, and I'd be like, okay, I need to do this. But then I'd be like, I don't feel like it, but it needs to get done. Okay, so let's start small. Let's work our way towards it. Chipping piece by piece off the iceberg. Kind of like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? I don't know if you've heard that saying before, but you start small and you work your way, right? So are you currently in the process of completing a project that seems like a Mount Everest instead of looking like something that you can accomplish? And how can you subdivide it so that you can actually reach your objective? Ponder that.